Hello, and welcome to the Association of Independent Maryland and DC Schools College Fair. We're so excited to have you with us this evening. I'm excited to share that we have 6 institutions that will be sharing information about their college with you for 6 minutes each. Before we get started, I want to share a few housekeeping items with you. I am your facilitator, Danielle, and I'll be here to help out with anything in the background. Your camera and microphone are muted, so the guests cannot see or hear you. You can use the Q&A button to ask questions throughout tonight's presentation, and our panelists will be able to answer them at any time. This is just one of the many different sessions that are taking place this evening, so be sure to check the schedule and sign up for other sessions after this one. Lastly, this presentation will be available as a recording at strivescan.com/AIMS. I'm ready to get started with our first presenter. We're going to hear from Wagner College.
Thank you. Okay, I'm just going to share my screen with you all. All right, well, good evening, everyone. My name is Stephanie. I am an admissions counselor here at Wagner College. All right, so Wagner College is a small private liberal arts school located on Staten Island, New York. Staten Island is one of the 5 boroughs of New York City. Some say that Staten Island is the forgotten borough, but we love our location and we tend to take full advantage of its close proximity to Manhattan. We are on a 105-acre campus. It's a park-like atmosphere with lots of beautiful trees, old historic buildings. So it really is the best of both worlds because you spend the next 4 years on this beautiful traditional college campus, but can get into Manhattan in just a few short minutes. We have about 1,750 undergraduate students and 375 grad students. So within the classroom, you'll have about 19 to 22 students with a cap at 32. And the ratio between faculty and student is just 14:1. So if you're looking for that smaller, intimate college feel, perhaps Wagner College is a great option for you. Even though we are on the smaller side, we are still very diverse. We have students from 45 different states and 29 different countries. So you may be from Maryland or the DC area, but you may be in a class with someone from California, Texas, even out of country. So I think it's really great. And I kind of call it the mini melting pot within one of the largest melting pots of New York City in the world. And about 60% of the students will live on campus. Apologies if you hear my dog barking in the background. We have 40 majors and minors, and we're always adding to that list as well. And there is the opportunity to dual major. So if you have 2 different interests, you can dual, as well as minor or double minor. Some of our more popular majors are biology, nursing, business, psychology, education, and our 2 most competitive programs are theater performance and physician assistant program. So campus life. We have over 70 student-led clubs and organizations, such as drama clubs, student government, sports clubs. If you feel as though we're lacking a specific club, you can start your own with the backing of a professor. We also have Greek life on campus. We have 4 sororities and 3 fraternities. About 15% of students will participate in Greek life. We're also Division I athletics with 26 athletics teams. We just added men's swimming and diving. Most attended games are football and baseball, and our most successful team is women's water polo. We have a terrific theater performance program, as I mentioned earlier. Our theater is ranked number 3 in the nation, and we've never dropped below 5. We put on 4 to 6 major musicals a year, as well as 4 to 6 small productions, some of which are student run. Here at Wagner, we are also heavily involved in civic engagement and community service. And if you want to expand on all of these extracurriculars, you can always hop on our free shuttle and head into New York City. The shuttle ride is about 8 minutes long, so It's about a 40-minute total commute into the city with a 25-minute boat ride. And the majority of the students will take full advantage of this close proximity, whether it be for fun, leisure, attending Broadway shows, athletic events, or for internship opportunities. We do have a mandatory internship your senior year, so students will certainly head into Manhattan, Brooklyn, or stay on Staten Island if they'd like for their internship experience. So admissions deadlines and requirements. So we are test optional, meaning you do not need to share an SAT score or ACT score, with the exception for our PA program. We do require to see test scores for that. But we have a very holistic way at reviewing applications. We look for GPA approximately 3.5 out of 4.0 or 89-90% out of 100. If you do submit an ACT, we look for 26 and up, and SAT 1200 and up. Two major deadlines, December 15th, that's early action, as well as physician assistant, theater performance, and theater design tech and management, and regular decision, which is April 15th. We do require interviews for the physician assistant program and theater design tech and management, and we do require auditions for our theater performance program. Financial aid and scholarships. So currently our tuition for 2022 to 23 is approximately $49,000 a year with an additional $15,000 for room and board. However, I will say that about 90% of students will not pay that sticker price because all students who are admitted to Wagner College are evaluated for a merit scholarship up to $28,000 a year. We also provide scholarship for athletics, theater, design tech management, and music, whether that be vocal or instrumental. We have a terrific music department. FAFSA priority deadline is January 15th. And we urge all our students to complete a FAFSA application to see if they can receive any additional aid and grants from the state and from the government. And here are all the various different ways you can get in touch. And follow at Wagner Admissions on Instagram for some really fun updates. Thank you.
Wonderful, thank you. Our next presenter of the evening is York College of Pennsylvania.
Okay, let me just share my screen here. All right, good evening, everyone. My name is Courtney Amelot. I am an Associate Director of Admissions. I'm also an alum of York College, but I'd like to talk to you a little about York, and I also have Katie McGowan joining me this evening as well. So York College, we are located in South Central Pennsylvania. We're only about an hour directly north of Baltimore. We are a private liberal arts college, and we currently have about 4,000 full-time undergraduate students, so we're definitely considered more of a medium-sized college. We are a residential campus. About 70% of our students live directly on campus, so we're not considered a suitcase college. So you're going to find those students living on campus, and we do guarantee housing all 4 years. As you can see from the map, we are close to larger cities, so we're about, an hour from Baltimore, like I mentioned before, 2 hours from Philadelphia, a couple hours from Washington, D.C., 3 hours from New York City, and only about a half hour from Lancaster and Harrisburg. So really close to some larger cities for great internship opportunities and careers when students graduate.
So as for firsthand experience at York College, we take this very seriously so that while you are preparing to become a working professional following your degree, you are gaining that real life experience throughout your education and dynamics that you have at York. Depending on your major, it will depend on what internships, the number of internships that you will be required, as well as co-ops. The biggest difference between these two would be that co-ops are a paid form of an internship, gaining work experience, and the internships can be built throughout your schedule, where the co-ops may need to be more of the summer time frame or in different times of year, depending on the hours worked for the co-op. Project-based learning is something we take a lot of pride in, as well as faculty-led research. So getting involved in project-based learning and faculty-led research that could be published and utilized as another resume builder. Study abroad opportunities are available to our students, not just in person with the 15 countries that we have agreements with, but also up to virtual study abroad opportunities with almost every country. 100% of our students are able to gain internship and and project-based learning opportunities, as well as gain engagement with over 12,000 businesses that we do have in the County of York.
So we have over 70 different majors at York College, and they are part of 5 different schools. The first one is the Graham School of Business, which is our largest school. We have 15 plus different programs. One of our most popular programs in the Graham School of Business is cybersecurity. We also have several 4+1 programs. If you want to get your master's degree, you can complete your undergrad and your master's in 5 years. We have the School of Behavioral Sciences and Education, which includes our criminal justice and psychology, sociology program, education. We also have the Myers School of Nursing and Health Professions. One of our most popular programs at York is nursing, and we do have a direct admit program at York College. So you're guaranteed your clinicals, which is an awesome benefit. We also have the Engineering, Sciences, and Technology School, which includes several really amazing science areas, as well as 4 different engineering programs. All of our engineering programs do require 3 years of co-op. So again, wonderful, wonderful programs. And then we have the last school listed here as well, which is the School of Arts, Communication, and Global Studies, which has some really unique programs, including music industry, intelligence analysis, and so forth. We also have pre-med, pre-law as well.
So going off what Courtney just mentioned, obviously the importance of choosing what career path you would like to become involved in following your 4 years at whatever college you may choose. Specifically at York College, we like to take pride in you being able to stand out. So not just building your resume for following your college experience and becoming a professional in the world, but building that resume as a college student. So doing things that will allow you to stand out. Some examples of employers that our York College graduates have become hired with that we now have ongoing relationships with are some very well-known organizations: Amazon, Google, Morgan Stanley, Philadelphia Phillies, which is very accessible to us, US Navy, as well as WellSpan Health, which is in our backyard. Additionally, as Courtney mentioned, we also offer a variety of master's programs. We do have York College students that have graduated from our programs that will become involved in the 4+1 program, as well as following graduation, they will return back to York, as well as a variety of other colleges and universities that they are able to attend. So moving into the next slide, this is something that we take a lot of pride in. Additionally, at York College, we are a part of the Mid-Atlantic Conference in York College of Pennsylvania. We do have 23 Division III varsity athletics. So whether you are an athlete wanting to pursue being a player on one of those teams, you are also able to observe and become part of that community. You can reach out to those coaches on those teams to say if you could be able to become a player at that varsity level, or you could be involved in one of our 30+ intramural and club sports. Some of the club sports that we have to offer, some of our newest ones would be the Ski and Outdoor Club, esports, as well as different opportunities within Student Senate, our ambassadors program, and plenty of other things. At York, we do additionally have 12 Greek life organizations, so anything that may be of interest to you, we are able to accommodate.
Did I wrap it up, Danielle? Do I have a little bit of time? I just want to quickly mention this is our cost slide. As you can see, our total cost is around $34,000. For a private school, that is the same for in and out of state, but we do offer many different merit scholarships to our students. And real quickly, I just wanted to go over our application. We do accept early decision. We also have regular or rolling admission. We have a free application, and we do have the test optional pathway as well for students. So visit our web address, www.ycp.edu, and we have our contact information also listed on this page. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great, thank you both so much. All right, our next presenter is Grinnell College.
All right, good evening. My name is John Loff, and I'm an admission counselor here at Grinnell College. I'm a native of the town of Grinnell. Grinnell graduate, not of Grinnell College, but of Grinnell High School. Grew up here, went to another small liberal arts college in the state of Iowa, and I'm back here now to share the wonderful institution of Grinnell College with students like yourself. I am the designated admission counselor for the state of Maryland. You can see my name and email address down here in the bottom right corner. My colleague Patty Amador Laxon is the designated representative for the DC area. But if you have any other kinds of questions, feel free to use me as a point of resource, as a point of reference to if you're from the DC area. So talking about where we are, Grinnell is located in central Iowa, maybe a place that many of you have never visited before, but we're not in the middle of nowhere. We like to say we're in the middle of a lot of cool places. So we're in between the capital of the state of Iowa, Des Moines. It's one of the fastest growing metropolitan areas in the United States. It's becoming a much more diverse population as well too. In the 2010 census, the persons of color proportion of that population was about 30%. And in the most recent census of 2020, it's sitting about 40% as well too. So about an hour from that, we're about an hour away from the city of Iowa City, another wonderful place in the state of Iowa. We're about 4 hours from the Chicago Metro, about 4 hours to the Twin Cities Metro, 4-ish to the Kansas City area. And we're not too terribly far from a variety of other places, not only in the Midwest. Our vice president for admission likes to say we're conveniently located in between New York and Los Angeles. There is a direct flight from Reagan to Des Moines that runs several times throughout the week as well too. So our location, and then talking about students who are here on campus. So we're definitely a small liberal arts college. We sit at about 1,700 students. Most of those students come from outside the state of Iowa, so you can see only about 6% of our students come from Iowa. Students are coming from all across the country. We have about 50 states represented just about every year. That's something we strive for. And about 50 countries are represented each year as well too, coming from all across the globe. And so on any time, we have about 60 languages that are spoken on campus. There's this one place in our student union, it's called the Joe Rosenfeld Center, and there's a place called the Spencer Grill, and above, hanging from the rafters are flags. So for each nationality that is represented that year, we're going to fly that flag to support that student and demonstrate the wide variety of geographical diversity that we have here on campus. We have diversity in several other forms. About 25% of our domestic students are students of color. About 15% of our students are first gen, so first in their families to go to college. And like I said, a large portion of our student population is made up of international students, and that sits at about 20%. So it's a really fantastic and vibrant student body. Talking about academics, Grinnell has a variety of majors and concentrations rather than minors. We have concentrations, and I'd encourage you to look into that a little bit further, asking me about it at some other point in time. Grinnell is definitely a small liberal arts college, so going along with our peers in that liberal arts vein, we encourage students to look across disciplines and see how things interact with each other, see how the connection between chemistry and biology, see that connection between chemistry and music as well too. But we don't require students to take certain courses to see to make those connections. We empower students to make the choices that they want to see in their academic career. And there's currently only one required course that we have at Grinnell. And that one required course is called First Year Tutorial. So as I mentioned, we have a variety of different diversity here on campus, geographical, socioeconomic, and a wide variety of diversity here on campus, but that also includes educational backgrounds as well too. So we want to make sure that all students have an even footing when they enter campus. So that first year tutorial is really going to help to work on that. Like I said, it's the only required course on campus, and that really lends itself to welcoming you to Grinnell, welcoming you to a college experience, and getting you acclimated to Grinnell College. But outside of that, you're really free to work to develop your own curriculum as you work through college. So there are requirements inside of your major, but outside of that, this lends students a lot of flexibility to pick up a double major. About a third of our students graduate with another major, and plenty of other students dive into some kind of concentration as well too. A great opportunity to dive into something that you may already have an interest in, or something completely different that you've never even touched before. Research is definitely big on campus. All students have the opportunity to engage in some kind of research here at Grinnell College. It might be a term-long research paper, but it could also be something called the Mentor Advanced Project, or MAP. And so what that would be is either coming up with your own research question and being guided by faculty members to find that question. Students are also able to engage with faculty members on their own existing scholarship, and you end up getting your name published on that professor's, being a co-contributor on that professor's work as well too. Outcomes, students really do a wide variety of things. About 25% of our students immediately go on to graduate school. And 88% of students are accepted into their first or second choice program, whether that's a master's, a professional program like a law degree, or whether they go in for that PhD program as well too. Externships are something that Grinnell offers. So in addition to an internship as well as an externship as well too. Grinnell has one of the largest endowments in the country, and it really allows us to give a lot of flexibility and empower students to do a variety of things that they would like to see while they're here on campus. With that, I recommend if you have any further questions to reach out to me at lofjohn1@grinnell.edu. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, John. All right. I want to encourage our attendees to use the Q&A button on your screen to ask follow-up questions to any of our presenters, as well as any of the presenters that you're waiting to hear from for the rest of this session. They will be able to answer those questions throughout tonight's session. All right. Our next presenter is from Trinity College.
Hello, everyone. Hi, it's so good to be with all of y'all today. My name is Emma Daskowitz. I use she, her, hers pronouns. And as Danielle said, I'm here representing Trinity College in Hartford, Connecticut. So to start out with, I just want to situate you into a little bit about what Trinity is. So we're a small private liberal arts college located in the capital city of Connecticut, Hartford, and I'll talk more about Hartford in a minute. But Trinity itself is really, your classic small liberal arts college with a twist. So we have, 2,100 full-time undergraduate students coming from across the US, 48 states, and over 80 countries represented on campus as well. We have a really strong international population on campus. Currently around 13% of our student body are international. And so that really adds a global feel to our entire community and to the campus itself. We also have around 23% domestic students of color on campus, and 90% of our students live on campus. So even though we are located within a major city, we still have that really small, tight-knit residential campus feel, which is really the best of both worlds for our students. And around 60% of students also receive financial aid because we have a policy of meeting 100% of calculated need for all students through grants and merit scholarships and occasionally loans too. I said I would talk a little bit more about Hartford, so I just want to contextualize where Hartford is within the United States. So we're up in New England and Connecticut, about equidistance from New York City and Boston. So you can hop on the train or the bus or the car and get to Boston within 2 hours going one way, get to New York in 2 hours going the other way. I mentioned the train, we're right on the Amtrak line, so there's actually a direct line from like DC or Maryland. You can take the Amtrak all the way up to us here in Hartford, or there are direct flights from Reagan to the Bradley International Airport, which is about 20 minutes from campus. Our campus is located right about a mile outside of the downtown Hartford area, and so also is about a mile from the state capitol. And then the greater Hartford area population is roughly 1.2 million. So, there's really this nice metro area for students to take advantage of, as well as having access to New York and Boston too. As a liberal arts college at Trinity, we really encourage flexibility within our academic experience. So we have 41 majors, 27 minors. We have a really small class size, intimate learning environment where students find they often have more colleague to colleague relationships with their professor rather than like student to teacher type relationships. And it really allows students to design the education that they want, because rather than having like a core set of courses or things that everyone has to take, we have requirement areas and we ask you to fill one class within each of the requirement areas, but it's really up to you how you do that. And so because these areas are so broad, like humanities or natural sciences, students find themselves often fulfilling these requirements kind of on accident or just by taking the classes that they enjoy. Usually it's either the art course or the numeric and symbolic reasoning course that students are most nervous about, but I've often found that students are really able to tailor what they're interested in with even those courses. So if you're like not an artist, you can take a creative writing course or an art history course and really allow you to explore what it is that interests you or maybe find a new passion too. We do require all incoming first years to take a first year seminar or a gateway program. A first year seminar is a class that you take your first fall semester on campus, and it's really meant to acclimate you into the college experience. A gateway program is very similar, and that's a class you take in your first year, but rather than just being one semester, it will be 2 or more semesters, and it usually has a little bit more of a focus within a specific area. So there's an inner arts gateway program, a science gateway program, there's a health humanities gateway program, for example, and a community action gateway program for students that know they have an interest in that field to come in and really tailor their learning and point their learning right from the word go. The other great thing about Trinity liberal arts education is that we are always looking for new ways to innovate within the liberal arts. So we have all your classic liberal arts majors, but then we also have, you know, a fully ABE accredited engineering program on campus. You can graduate as an engineer in 4 years. You can even double major as an engineer. There's a senior who works in our office who's double majoring in international studies and engineering. So it's very, very possible. And we have a public policy and law major and a human rights major as well. The other new thing we have just added to our curriculum, which is really exciting, is really co-curricular learning opportunities. So Hartford is the biggest benefit to attending Trinity. Living within an urban location and getting to take advantage of everything that the city has to offer is really impactful to our students' experiences because of everything from internships to fellowships to mentorship opportunities to research within the cities or teaching assistantships too. It really gives our students the chance to take what they're learning in the classroom out into the real world. And now it's something that's required of you. Students have to have 3 co-curricular experiences during their time at Trinity in order to graduate. The exciting thing is that that was just a requirement that was introduced for this first year class, so the class of 2025. But like all of the seniors on campus have basically already done it because it's something that's so ingrained within the Trinity community. There are over 200 internship sites set up within the Hartford area for Trinity students, and those can both be internships that you do during the semester for credit instead of a class, or it could be something that, you know, you're paid for as well, or a summer internship opportunity. And the last thing I'll say is we also have the Center for Hartford Engagement and Research, which runs all of our community learning courses, as well as things like our Internet Cafe, the Trinco Cafe, and the Liberal Arts Action Lab too. I will drop my email in the chat if y'all have any admissions questions, and thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you. Our next presenter is from Davidson College.
Great, thank you all for being here. I'm thrilled to connect with you this evening. I am just going to go ahead and share my screen. My name is Bridget Ashton. I'm an assistant dean of admission here at Davidson. I'm entering my 5th year of being here at Davidson, and I have the privilege of working with students who are from the state of North Carolina. Can you see my screen okay?
Yes.
There we go. Cool. Okay. I just want to make sure. A little bit about Davidson. We're a community of about 2,000 students, completely undergraduate, coming from 50 states and about 45 different countries to form a community of students in Davidson, North Carolina. About 30% of our students identify as domestic students of color. About 15% of our students identify as first in their family to attend college, and about 10% of our students identify as international students. But more than just those numbers, our students are coming from a breadth of socioeconomic backgrounds, religious and political views, gender and sexual identities to form a tight-knit community that's deeply compassionate and kind and caring for one another. We're located in the quintessential small college town of Davidson, located just 19 miles north of Charlotte. So this location puts us in a pretty special spot in that students can enjoy the community, the campus of Davidson. About 95% of our students do live on campus for all all 4 years, while also having easy access to this growing hub in the city of Charlotte that offers internships, entrepreneurship opportunities, world-class arts and entertainment, and fantastic outdoor activities, including the U.S. National Whitewater Center, located conveniently in Charlotte. More than just our physical location, though, it is really the values and the people that ground our community. Our honor code is at the heart of that. The honor code is not unique to Davidson. There's some really great institutions out there that have honor codes, but I do think the degree to which it affects our students is pretty special. It essentially says, I will not lie, cheat, or steal, and it allows our students some specific privileges, including self-scheduled final exams, a student-run honor council, and other privileges that create a community of honesty, of integrity, fundamental decency, mutual respect, those values that we so need in 2022. In terms of our environment, echoing some of my colleagues, we are a liberal arts school. And so what that means is that we are teaching students how to think, not what to think. As a liberal arts school, students have the opportunity to choose from over 70 different majors, minors, pre-professional programs, interdisciplinary programs. And we do have the opportunity to create your own major through our Center for Interdisciplinary Studies. We do offer a number of pre-professional programs as well, including pre-medicine, pre-law, allied health. We do offer a dual degree engineering program where students can follow that advising track in addition to their major. Students are learning in an intimate learning environment. The student to faculty ratio is 9:1 and the average class size is 15. So another big piece of this is having that faculty support. So you're getting to know your faculty in class, in weekly office hours. Beyond that, about 3/4 of our faculty live within walking distance of campus. So you're also going to continue those conversations over dinner at their house, or they're going to show up to your intramural soccer game or your theater performance. As you're digging into these interests, you're also going to have opportunities for experiential learning. You'll see about 80% of our students have at least one research or internship opportunity during their time at Davidson. About 70% of our students will have 2 or more of those opportunities. We also see about 80% of our students taking advantage of global experiences, about 65% of them being through full academic semesters. We also see students taking advantage of community-based learning opportunities where you have the chance to get out into the area, the town of Davidson, the Charlotte community, to serve and work with those local organizations. Beyond that, about 95% of our students do some sort of civic engagement during their time at Davidson. And that can mean political engagement. It might be social and racial justice activism, traditional community service, alternative breaks. And you see that our students are getting involved in a variety of ways beyond that as well. Over 200 clubs and organizations that vary from beekeeping club to mock trial, religious and political organizations, and just about everything in between. All that is complemented by our 21 Division I sports, most of which are competing in the Atlantic 10 Conference. You may have seen our men's basketball team in the tournament the last couple of weeks on TV. Finally, I do want to emphasize our commitment to making this as accessible and affordable as possible. In 2007, we established something known as the Davidson Trust, which really means 3 big things for our students. One, for all U.S. citizens and permanent residents, we do not look at your family's ability to pay when evaluating your application. The second piece of this is that we're meeting 100% of your family's calculated financial need, and you'll see that process outlined on this slide here. Third piece of this is that we're meeting that need through grants and through work study. We were the first liberal arts college in the nation to eliminate loans from financial aid packages. In terms of next steps, I hope that you will find yourself on our campus and get to know us a little bit better. We continue to offer in-person campus visits. We do also offer virtual events so that you can connect with students, community members in real time. And then we also have these great ways to connect on social media. Finally, I hope that you'll connect with me. I'm always happy to chat about our admission and financial aid processes so I can be an advocate and a partner to you in this process. So thank you all.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. All right, we are now going to actually transition into our questions. Elizabethtown College was not able to join us, so we are going to have some question time with our college representatives, and then we'll wrap up the session. So if all of our college representatives would just come back and turn the camera on. And we will answer the first question in the same order as presented. So we're going to start off with Wagner College. And the question is, what advice would you give students in the college search process?
Yes, thank you. So one piece of advice for me is not to be afraid to ask questions. Feel free to ask lots of questions. Don't worry, you're not bothering us. That's our job. And we want to help you make this process as easy as possible, because we do know that it can get overwhelming throughout the research process and then while applying to various schools. So yeah, do not be afraid to contact us at any time and ask anything that you like.
All right, we'll now hear from York answering the same question.
I'd have to piggyback off of Wagner a little bit. I would say it's really important to stay in touch with your admissions counselor, and most of us have specific geographic, territories. So really, take that time to get to know us. We want to get to know you as we, go through the process and walk you through that.
And just to tag on to Courtney, visit the college campuses. Obviously, we talk about these campuses and we're passionate about them because we're on them, but we want you on them as well. So come to the campus, see what it looks like, see what feels comfortable, and make the appropriate choice for you.
I would recommend starting a new email account. You might already have several other email accounts, but I'd recommend opening one that is specifically just for your college search, and then give your parent or guardian access to that as well too. That's the number one way how we're going to communicate with you. If you're going through an application, you might have forgotten to submit something. That's going to be your chance for us to get in touch with you, so to make sure that your application is complete, and that'll apply to a whole bunch of other things as well.
I would say don't be scared to ask the people in your life for advice, but remember, at the end of the day, it's your decision. Your parents, your grandparents, your aunts and uncles, your friends at school, your teachers are all going to have opinions, and they're probably going to give you some good advice, but at the end of the day, it's your decision, so make the one that's best for you.
Yeah, and I'll echo Emma's point. Take ownership of this process. You are your best advocate. We are all here to help advocate for you in our processes, but ultimately we don't know what we don't know. So share with us as much as you can in the application process. Be in touch with us, and be sure to put your best foot forward in the process so that we can do the same for you.
That's wonderful advice. Thank you all for sharing. All right, our next question is, what is one thing that you want the attendees to remember about your school?
Yeah, so one thing that I would like everyone to remember is location. So Wagner College truly is the best of both worlds. As I mentioned previously, we are on a 105-acre park-like campus, but we are just a short commute into Lower Manhattan. So you're going to get that beautiful, quiet, yet vibrant campus, traditional college feel. But then you just head over into Manhattan where all the hustle and bustle is. So if you want to be located in New York City, but maybe not sandwiched in between Wall Street and Times Square, then Wagner College may be a great option for you.
I would say for a private college, York College has a really reasonable tuition sticker price. So I think that's something that's really unique about York College.
I would say the wealth of opportunity that we have here at Grinnell College. We do have one of the largest endowments in the country, as I mentioned, in terms of dollars per students, and that really allows us to do a variety of things, whether that's through financial aid. Like Davidson, we're one of 7 schools that have that no loan policy. So whether it's making sure that students have access to being able to pay for Grinnell education or opportunities for internships, externships, a variety of other things through our alumni network. So wealth of opportunities, what I'd say, is what we have.
I would say is just the advantage of combining, a small liberal arts campus within an urban setting and really getting the best of both worlds there. I think like Stephanie, our students are just outside of, a metropolitan area. So we have that kind of park-like campus and the chance to engage with the city. And it really means that for a student, the ability to customize your education and your out of classroom learning experiences are endless.
I would want folks to remember about Davidson, just the people that make our community really special. There are some fantastic small liberal arts colleges out there. I think the people is what make our community so special. It's students who are incredibly engaged, who are smart, who are curious, but they're also incredibly kind. So I hope that students take that away.
Wonderful. And I'm so glad to see that our attendees are using the Q&A feature for this session. As we approach this last question, I just want to thank our college reps again for the advice that they've shared. But I do know that sometimes a lot of misinformation is shared in this process. So I want to hear from our college representatives. What is one myth, because I know there are plenty, what is one myth that you would like to debunk on college admissions?
Yeah, so I can't speak for all the various colleges here, but I can speak for Wagner College, and that is, just because you may not meet the average GPA or average for our admissions requirements, does that mean that you are not admissible? We look at all the various components of your application, as well as you as a student and a person. So even if you're just a little bit lower than our average GPA, I still encourage you to apply and to remain in communications with your admissions counselor to see what it is that you can do to be admitted. So yeah, that's one thing that I'd like to debunk.
So kind of just to piggyback off of Stephanie, I think one of the myths is that you have to have all straight A's regardless of what your course load is. And we are very aware to the fact that you are hardworking individuals and you are not just attending school. You are managing the difficulties of high school. You are a part of athletic teams. You are working. You are doing a variety of things. And those things carry a great amount of weight as well, because when you get to the collegiate level, you may also continue to do those same things. And we want you to be involved. So us seeing that and us seeing that you are so involved, those are things that we want to encourage for you and allow for that to continue to occur when you get to the collegiate level. So not just that you don't have to have straight A's, but you don't just also have to go to school. You can do a variety of other things as well.
At least for small liberal arts colleges, I would definitely say that it's a personal process, whether it's doing admission interviews or just reading through your applications. I read through quite a few college essays. Every single applicant that applied in my territory, I read their essay. So we get to know a lot about you, and similar to the other advice that was shared, I would encourage that you get to know us as well too, because it can be a very personal process.
Yeah, everyone has already said such fantastic things. I think the one thing I would add to it is just, I think one myth that I see going around a lot is that like the essay has to be like really impactful or like really about a life-altering experience, and it doesn't. It can be about, your afternoon in the summer and how much fun you had, as long as I get to know you, because like John, I'm reading your essays. I'm just trying to get to know who you are as a person, and however you go about telling me that, that's going to be the best essay that you can write. So it doesn't have to be, the most dramatic thing ever. It should just be whatever's authentically you.
I love that advice, Emma. My advice, it echoes what everyone has said, but we have positive intent in this process. We are not reading applications to be evil human beings. We are reading your application for reasons to admit you, not to deny you. And so as part of that, just looking for all the ways that we can get excited about you in this process. And so as you're having questions, as you're having worries, anxieties, know that we're here to help with that.
Yes, that's wonderful. Thank you all so much for taking the time to answer those questions and even the questions that were posed by our attendees this evening. This does bring us to the end of this session, so I want to thank everyone for being here. As you all close out of this session, you will see a quick survey. So we do hope you take the time to answer that 5-question survey for us and provide any feedback. There is one more section of the college fair this evening, so I hope you would join us for that one. And remember that the recording for this one is available at strivescan.com/Ames. Thank you all so much and have a great evening.